Thank you for joining us today for another exclusive interview sponsored by Immovate. Help your horses reach their maximum potential with Immovate's line of natural homeopathic products. I'm your host today, Aurelian Drumian. Today, we're joined by Brendan Walsh, one of America's most respected and consistent trainers, known for his patience, horsemanship, and sharp eye for talent. With Gosger headed to the Preakness Stakes, we'll talk about the colts preparation, what sets him apart, and the thinking behind this high-stake entry. We'll also get insights into Walsh's relationship with Gosger owners, the horse personality, and what might lie ahead, possibly even the Belmont Stakes. From yearling sales strategy to stable plans for the season, stay tuned for a thoughtful conversation with a trainer who continues to make his mark at the top level. Well, great to have you here, Brendan.
Thanks for having me on.
For sure. So, what are your plans for Gosger in the Preakness, and what will his prep look like?
We entered him this morning, so we'll see what way the draw goes. Not that I don't think the draw there has as much emphasis as maybe it does on the Derby, but all the same, you'd like to have a nice draw, around the middle of the field. I'm thinking there's going to be like 8, maybe 9 runners. So yeah, he's a very uncomplicated horse. We'll just let him see where he lands and leave it to Luis really, because there's no particular way to ride him. He should get the distance, no problem. And like in the Lexington the last day, he was doing his best work at the end. So hopefully he'll be doing it again on Saturday.
Excellent. What do you think are his biggest advantages or disadvantages, especially for that specific race?
Well, I think, like we just said, he is very uncomplicated and he's got a very good mind. So you can basically put him wherever you want. So we'll have a look at the race beforehand and sum up where everybody's going to be and try to come up with a plan from there. But like I said, we'll keep it pretty simple with him and just try to put him in a good spot where he can win the race from.
Excellent. Perfect. What prompted this decision to raise him in the Preakness?
Well, earlier in the year, we really liked the horse, and I thought we could maybe he could possibly be a Derby horse. But we had a couple of delays with him. He got sick at one point in Florida over the winter. We had to put back his first race of them all, maybe a month later than what we had initially planned. And then between his maiden win and the Lexington, we gave him a little extra time too, because I felt he was doing a lot of growing and filling out. So we just gave him a little more time. So, we went to the Lexington obviously and he won it and ran really well. So from a timing point of view, the Preakness kind of suited. It was going to be too soon to try to go back in the Derby. And I don't think he's quite ready for a Derby right now either. Probably just needs a little more time, but the Preakness seems like it'll fit him good, and hopefully he can move forward again from the Lexington, and I think he'll need to do that, and if he does, then it should put him right there.
So, win or lose the Preakness, what do you think would be next for him
Um,
over the next few months?
I'm not sure. We'll talk to we'll see how things go in the Preakness, and we'll talk with the owners, but I mean, all you would hope if he runs well in the Preakness, all of the bigger races would be on the table. I'm not sure about the Belmont yet. We'll see how things go with the Preakness. I mean, obviously, if he were to win the Preakness, you might be tempted to take a shot at the Belmont. I mean, there's similar distances now anyway, so. But we'll see. We'll see how things go Saturday, and if he's as good a horse as we think he is, then, like I said, all the bigger races as the year goes on will be on the table for him.
Well, that sounds very exciting for sure. I'd like to ask you a bit more about the background of Gosger. So, how did Gosger come to you? What are his owners like? Can you tell us a little bit more about that relationship?
Um, his owners have had horses with me on and off the last, God, they've had them with us, the last 7, 8 years. They never have a ton of horses to go into training every year, maybe, three or four. Um, but Harvey Clark, who is the Scott's dad, unfortunately, we lost Harvey a few years ago, but he was the one who made the initial contact with me, and I had a couple of horses for them on and off for a few years. But the last 3, 4 years, we've had one, maybe two every year. But we Gosger was down in Florida last year, at Kinsman Farm, and I went down and saw him a few times and really liked him, as a yearling. So we were lucky enough to get him into our barn. We had him last year as a 2 year old. He had a couple of little issues, just baby things, and we ended up having to give him pretty much. He kind of we turned him back out because he missed pretty much all of his 2 year old year. Um, but he obviously came back good, and it was worth giving him the time, and I think we're getting paid for it now. But they're fantastic owners. They leave it to me. Um, you know, they let you do your job, and I think that's very important, anymore, because that's what we're paid to do. And so really nice people. It was great to have Gosger win the Lexington for them. They were all there, and they had a great day, and hopefully, I presume that they're all coming again this time round, and hopefully we can give them another day to remember.
Perfect. If you could describe Gosger's personality in 3 words, what would that be?
Hmm. Uh, Sound-minded and athletic.
Perfect. And after the Preakness, so you mentioned um, you will see from there, I guess, for the rest of the season. Um, you don't think Belmont Stakes might be on the agenda?
It could possibly be. Absolutely, it would. Especially if you were to win the Preakness, you would take a good look at it. But there's some nice races as the year goes along, and these people have given me they never push these horses. They give me as much time as I need to give them. So, like I said, we'll see how things go with the Preakness, how hard a race he has. you know, if he were to win it, yeah, you'd look at the Belmont for sure. You'd have to take it into consideration. But I think that's all going to, depend on how everything goes on Saturday.
Talking a bit more about your other horses, what are your plans over the next few months?
Um, well, most of my horses at the moment are in Kentucky. So we'll have the rest of the Churchill Downs meet for the months of May and June. Then normally what we do is we ship a small team of horses up to Saratoga, to New York for the meet there. And then of course, we move to Ellis Park in Kentucky, which is great because you get a lot of the 2 year olds coming along. Good place to start them off. And we kind of ship horses a lot of places. Like we ship horses all over the country, depending on races. You can't be afraid to do that here. So yeah, that would be the plans there, and then hopefully at the end of the year back down to split everything up between Turfway Park and Palm Meadows in Florida and the fairgrounds in New Orleans.
Perfect. Are you looking also to buy a few more horses during these yearly sales?
Yeah, I mean we're always looking for new horses. We do work the sale at Keeneland in September pretty hard, and of course the facing sales as well. So yeah, in the fall we'll be trying to get some more horses in, as we always do. I've got a guy, bloodstock agent Corbin Blumberg. He helps me out at the sales every year because I like to work the sales myself too. But Corbin does all my shortlisting and stuff for me, and we've worked together now the last few years, and he kind of knows what we like and what we don't like. So we've built up a pretty good relationship, and he's got a very good eye for a horse. So very, very pleased with that. So yeah, absolutely, we'll be shopping hard in the fall.
Excellent. And finally, on to the last question. Is this your first Preakness attempt? Yes.
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
actually I ran a horse called Multiplier. I'm guessing 6, maybe 7 years ago. In the Preakness, he won the Illinois Derby that year, and we brought him to the Preakness, and he ran okay. He ran kind of sixth or seventh, I think, in the Preakness, and we ran him back in the Belmont. But yeah, he ran okay in the Preakness, but unfortunately we weren't close enough. Hopefully we'll go a little closer this time.
Are you excited about repeating that experience?
Yes, absolutely. It's a nice we haven't run just that one horse in the Preakness, but we've always, like, even last year we had a few horses run Preakness weekend and we've done that the last few years. So it's always an enjoyable weekend, and it's they take very good care of us up there. So it's really, really nice experience.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Brendan. That was great.
No, thank you. And yeah, any time at all. Thanks for having me on.
I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Yes, you too. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.